All of the videos that I'm going to discuss here, my personal top 30 Krakow recommended things to do, can be found in their own separate playlist on this channel, and I'll include the link in the description below. Hi, it's Jed here, and welcome to the terrace of my home in Krakow, from which got a pretty good view of a lot of the city. There we have the main square, the Violetska town hall, Wawel Castle all the way around, Krakow's Mound, Dobra Atmosfera, the balloon, to Debniki. So hi everyone, and welcome to the top of my home in Krakow. When I got here, I started a YouTube channel. Moved here from Los Angeles, and I couldn't find a lot of English content about life in Krakow. So when I got here, it was 3 months before Nina was able to join me. So to keep myself busy, I focused on some content for our YouTube channel, which at that point I called From LA to Krakow. And we've been making videos about life in Krakow ever since. So over the course of 2 years, over 200 videos on our channel Planet Krakow now, and more than 170 of those relate to life in Krakow. And a handful relate to trips to Warsaw, and a handful trips to Zakopane. But the vast majority are about things that we've done and experienced in Krakow, and sort of recorded our journey, our experiences of life here. And of course, we absolutely love living in this city, so it's been a really positive experience. And a lot of these experiences that we've had have absolutely contributed to that. So I thought, to mark my 2-year anniversary, since we got 170 videos, kind of daunting for anybody who sort of takes a look at our library. It's a lot of content on there. I thought I'd mark our 2-year anniversary by picking kind of 30 of my favorite things to do on these videos, which I think for visitors hopefully might give some ideas or inspire some thoughts about things that you might be able to do and enjoy if you come to visit the city. I'm not going to talk about the things that everybody does and everybody knows about. So Wawel Castle, Auschwitz, Schindler Museum, Schindler Factory. There's a ton of videos out there already. Loads of visitors have made videos about those main sites. The salt mines at Violetska, I would include in that as well. So if you really want to look at the ones that everybody knows about, I'm not going to be talking about them in this video. I'm going to be talking about the other things that we've enjoyed here. That some of these you probably don't know about or haven't thought about. So like I said, I'm hoping it gives you some ideas of things to do when you come here. And each one of these, and as I noted them, I got about 30 or so, we have a separate video on. So as I talk, I'm gonna put a couple of the scenes or the pictures from the videos. If you're interested to learn more about any particular item, you could go and find the video. Our videos typically run kind of 15 to 25 minutes, sometimes more. So really give you a lot of content on each thing that I'm going to be talking about. I originally wanted to do this video of like the 10 things that I like, and I couldn't stick to 10. That's how much we like this city. And then I got to 15, and that didn't do it. My favorite things added up to 30 different things to do. And it's a mixture of places to eat, a couple to drink, some events that only happen just once a year, and other just cool locations that we've been to. So let's start with some interesting food places. These are kind of in purely random order as well. It's not my favorites, 1 to 30. It's just the things that I noted down, that from our 170, these are the ones that I think I like, are the ones I like the most. So I guess being a foodie guy, first things I thought about were restaurants. So our last video, which you might have watched already, was on MooMoo Steakhouse. As I've been looking at Facebook communities and what visitors are interested in when they come to Krakow, I noted that visitors, especially the British visitors, recommended a couple of restaurants, MooMoo and Sue. So last week we went to MooMoo. That was interesting. I hadn't been there in my 2 years. Went to MooMoo Steakhouse, and it was fabulous. So thank you, visitors, for pointing me in the right direction with that one. The steaks were excellent. The style of the restaurant was very much to my liking. Very clean, very modern, a little bit upscale, pretty above average expense, the cost for Krakow, but worth it. Really good steakhouse. I will definitely go there again. It's right in the center of the city, just off the main square. If you like steak and you want a good steak place, highly recommend it. Next restaurant is Gollencania, and this was being one of our most successful vlogs to date, scoring over 40,000 views. And it's actually very local to where we live here, on the west side of the city, heading out towards Salvatore, but still very easy to reach by tram. A number 1 or a number 2 stops right outside. But Gollencania is the place to come for pork knuckle and ribs. It's my favorite ribs place, but the pork knuckle is what it's known for. The restaurant has a wood-fired grill, and the pork knuckle comes out. It's crispy, really crispy on the outside, and wonderfully moist and tasty on the inside. And it's awesome. So definitely one, if you're going to venture outside the old town, again, it'll be 10 or 15 minutes. Check out Gollencania. Third one, another restaurant right in the center of the old town, is Black Duck. This restaurant, as the name implies, features duck. It's a duck restaurant, and duck in many forms. But Nina and I shared the whole roast duck, and it comes out in a tray with all the trimmings, a little bit sort of Sunday dinner like. It was fabulous. It was one of the meals that from 2 years has stuck long in the memory for me. It's a place we absolutely want to go back to. I wouldn't say that I'm a big duck fan. Duck is very popular in Poland, but this converted me. The whole thing was great. The restaurant is really a great looking restaurant, right in the center. Definitely one to think about. Again, not the cheapest restaurant you could go to, but really good. Definitely worth thinking about if you're looking for something a little bit different. Number 4 that I have is I'm a big football fan, and in Krakow, we're lucky to have 2 football teams. Well, we have more, but we have two teams in the top divisions, and for a long time they've been in the main division. But I did a video. I've done a few videos on going to football. I'm surprised when I look at the Facebook groups and I look at the content out there about Krakow. I don't see people talking about football, but I know that you know, so many of the visitors that come here have to be football fans. So I really recommend going to a football game if you can when you're in the city. Both stadiums, again, very close to where I live out here on the west side and very close to each other. The video that I'm going to recommend is I went to a Vishwa game. For me, it's the stadium that has the most atmosphere, the bigger crowds. But one particular game I went to, they have a very friendly relationship with another team. And it's the first game I've ever been to where the two sets of fans really acted like one, like brothers. In fact, the opposing sets of fans were chanting for each other's teams. The atmosphere was unbelievable, and it was just something that I've never experienced having gone to football games around the world. So if you're a football fan, I highly recommend checking this particular video out, just to get a sense of what it's like at the Vishwa ground. And the Vishwa has a VIP section, so if you're a little bit sort of intimidated by going to a football game in Poland, I can suggest the VIP section, which is where I went. It's, you know, a fraction of the cost of going to watch a game in England or elsewhere in the world, and with a VIP ticket you get a bit of food, you get a beer, you get a great seat, and it's a really nice atmosphere. And from there you can sit and watch the ultras and the hardcore fans at the other side of the stadium. So it's a great location to go, really enjoyable, much nicer than you might think, and the atmosphere is something else. So highly recommend this as a activity, and definitely one of my favorite things to do, and I've been several times since. Gollencania, also Gollencania, food on my mind. Krakow Stadium, smaller, not quite the same atmosphere, but they play in the top league. Vishwa got relegated last year in the second division. Smaller stadium, still great to go to, but at the risk of upsetting half of Krakow here, I've got to say going to Vishwa was my favorite experience. Next up is a bar called CK Brova, and all my guests really enjoy visiting this bar because they serve it's a craft brewery, and they serve their beers in 3-litre towers or 5-litre towers, and you pour the beer yourself at your seat, which is, everybody gets a kick out of doing that. It's a lot of fun. It's in a great sort of cellar underground location, right on the outside of the old town, so you can walk there in like 2 or 3 minutes from the center. I really like the chicken wings there. It does pork knuckle, healthy portions of food. It's not my favorite food place. It's a bar, and the beer is why I go there, but I really do like the chicken wings there, I have to say, and they're very reasonable. So for a bar, like I say, all my guests that have gone there really like it, and they all talk about going back to it. So check out the video for CK Brova to see what I'm talking about. He goes to Auschwitz. People love to visit Schindler's Museum. I was disappointed with Schindler's Factory. I was disappointed with Schindler's Factory because there's very little there to actually do with the story of Oskar Schindler. The factory was gutted after the war, and the local government has put in there a museum about life in Poland during World War II, which is a really interesting exhibition. I like that exhibition, but it's not about Schindler. And that's 90% of what's in Schindler's Factory is that museum. So only like 10-20% is devoted to stuff about the factory itself and Schindler, which I was quite disappointed with. And I think a lot of visitors who go to Schindler's Factory don't know that that's the case, and get a little disappointed when they get there. But like I said, the exhibition that there is still interesting. But I don't know that that's the must-do that perhaps everybody thinks that it is. But I think there's a couple of must-dos here in Krakow that people don't think about so much. If you watch Schindler's List, the bulk of the movie is not about Auschwitz. It's about the life of the the Jews in Krakow, it's about their life in the Kazimierz district before the war. Then it's about the life in the ghetto when the Nazis drove them into the Krakow Ghetto, which is also in Podgorgia, in the center of the city. And then the Nazis liquidated the ghetto, and many of the Jews were sent to a concentration camp, work camp called Plazov, which is also in the city. And then ultimately onto Auschwitz. But if you watch Schindler's List, which is this whole story, it's only the very end of the movie that features Auschwitz. The bulk of the movie looks at Kazimierz, the ghetto, and Plazov. And for me, these are the really interesting places to visit. Kazimierz is now kind of a bohemian area, got lots of coffee shops, a lot of restaurants. Everybody knows about Kazimierz. It's a great place to go. But there's a ton of history there. There's hardly any Jewish people live there now. But all the old synagogues are there, a ton of that. The Jews were in Krakow for centuries, and they lived in Kazimierz. And a lot of the remnants from the time of them living there, namely the synagogues, the old Jewish cemetery, their shops and restaurants of Jewish origin, all in Kazimierz. And you can get guidebooks that will, if you walk around Kazimierz, you can go and look at all of these sites. And I got a video on that. It's really easy to do. Everybody knows Kazimierz, but perhaps they don't know the history of Kazimierz. This video will give you an understanding of that and highlight the places to look out for when you go to Kazimierz. It's not that big an area to do. You can do it in an hour or two, and it costs you nothing to do it. So highly recommend doing that. And then, if you know the story, the Nazis drove the Jews out of Kazimierz over the river, and on the other side of the river we have a district called Podgorgia. And the Nazis built the ghetto in Podgorgia. So literally 5 minutes walk across St. Bernadette's Bridge, you come to Podgorgia, and that's the start of the ghetto. And a lot of the ghetto hasn't changed since the war. It's very residential still. If you walk around it, it's a living, breathing part of Krakow today. But there's trails that you can do, and there's placards on the walls of many of the buildings that sort of tell you the story of the ghetto. And the main part of it is Ghetto Heroes Square, which has got a truly awful history. And there's still in the square the guard hut from the times that the Nazis were here. But it's here, it's in the city. You can walk there so easily, and you can walk around the ghetto. Again, it costs you nothing. You'll be amazed that it's still a residential area of what Krakow is today. But you can walk around all this history, and it's a tragic history. But for me, it's as important as part of the story as the other sites. And again, we got a video. I made a video about the ghetto and the trail that you could do. And if you're interested in that historic part of Krakow, I really recommend spending a couple of hours doing that. And then finally, the labor camp that was here Auschwitz was a death camp, pure and simple, mass extermination of Jews, not just from Poland but from elsewhere. But the camp that's in Schindler's List was Plazov, and that was in the city. That was demolished after the war. But the site of Plazov you can go to, and there are remnants there, and there's a lot of pictures now. The government is doing more and more in terms of sort of making a walking trail there to tell the story. There's a really fascinating monument there. It's another location I don't think people know about and they don't visit, but that's the camp. That's the camp that was in the movie, Schindler's List. I got a video on it. I did a tour with a tour guide. Volume, there were some challenges I had technically with this video, but check it out. So, exploring Kazimierz, exploring the ghetto, exploring Plazov. For me, these are things that are as much part of the Jewish story in this city as Auschwitz. So if you go to, and a lot of times I read, oh, we've done Auschwitz, like what else can we do? Recommend doing these things, and also recommend rewatching Schindler's List before you come to visit Krakow. Refresh yourself on the whole story, because it's all about Krakow and what happened to the Jewish population here. And then you can go and see all of these locations. You can also see some of the locations where they filmed the movie. Really, really interesting thing to do. And I think these videos, if you watch them, can help you think about that before you come. First of the events that I want to talk about is the Dragon Parade that they have in the summer on the River Vishwa. It's big inflatable dragons, balloons, great big inflatable balloon dragons coming down on barges on the river at night time against the backdrop of the most spectacular fireworks display that we have in the city during the year. I've got 2 videos on this from the 2 years that I've been here. It's an event worth, if you're really lucky if you're in the city in the summer when this event is on. Check out Dragon Parade on the internet. Look for some of the pictures of the dragon balloons. But this, and they, vast majority of people come and take up places on the riverside, watch for free. But there is an area where they have seating that you can pay for. That's what we did last year. We had a fantastic view of the fireworks. It's an unbelievable event, and one worth timing your visit to come and see. One of my favorite nights and events of the year here in Krakow. Back to Kazimierz, and I think this one is pretty well known about. The center of Kazimierz is Platz Novi. It's, if you go there, it's a square. It's got like a hexagon in the middle, and on each side of the hexagon there's different stalls, and they sell zapiekanki, which are like the French bread pizzas. Polish fast food. Very reasonably priced, like 20 to 30 zlotys get you one that's fully loaded. Platz Novi is the place to go, and you absolutely have to go. And there's so many of these stalls selling their zapiekanki. Go there, have a zapiekanki, right in the heart of Kazimierz. Also a great spot because it's the central point of Kazimierz. From there you can explore all the bars and restaurants, and there's hundreds of them. But the living, beating heart is Platz Novi. So go to Platz Novi, go take pictures, have your zapiekanki. It's a must-do, highly Instagrammable spot. Again, we have a video on it. We've just ended Christmas season. I'm not going to talk about the Christmas market. I think everybody knows about the Christmas market. We've got a video on the Christmas market. But on the first Thursday of every December, there is an event in the morning in the Old Town. It's all about shopki. Shopki are these amazing nativity scenes that locals spend all year building. These are the most ornate, amazing Christmas scenes, and there's a competition every year. And on the first Thursday of December, the locals present what they've built during the year in the center, in Main Square in Old Town, and it's the most Christmassy, awesome event in Krakow that I love. I've got videos from the last 2 years. The craftsmanship in these nativity scenes is incredible. They do it in different age categories. So there's a kids category, so the kids are coming with the nativity scenes they've developed, the teens, and then these guys who are just absolute professionals making these amazing models. And on that morning, it's chaos in the Old Town. Everybody's bringing their models. They put them all around Adam Mickiewicz's statue in the center, and there's old school kids coming to take a look, tourists walking around, don't have a clue what's going on. The whole thing is over and done with in like 3 or 4 hours. So like by 1 o'clock, you wouldn't even know it happened. But it's the most Christmassy thing. It's fabulous. And do check out this video. And if you are thinking of coming to look at the Christmas market, think about coming that first week of December and taking in this event. This is unique to Krakow, and these nativity scenes have to incorporate elements of design of something from the city. So you won't find an event like this elsewhere, and it's magical. After the competition, like a few days later, they put all of the shopki in a museum, which is also on the square, so you can go and see them in a museum setting all the way through to February. But I love it when they present them in the Old Town and they're carrying these nativity scenes, ornate nativity scenes. Your heart is in your mouth because they're such ornate models. Please check out this video. One of my favorite things. Back to Kazimierz. For me, another must-do place to go is Judah Market. Judah Market, you might have seen on some vlogs or some Instagram pictures. It's the food truck market. There are 7 or 8 food trucks in a little square. This is the street food capital of Krakow. And the reason I suggest to go there is it's a pretty neat place in Kazimierz to take pictures and your Instagram pictures and so on, because it's just a really cool place. But the food from these food trucks is fabulous. There's the burger place there, has phenomenal burgers. There's a hot dog place there that has gourmet hot dogs. You've never had hot dogs like these. There's a pulled pork sandwich joint, which is fantastic. A baked potato place, pierogi, Belgian fries, zapikanki, Asian food place. And it's very reasonably priced food, and it's excellent food, and it's a great place to go, and it's in Kazimierz. So if you're at Kazimierz, wherever you are in Kazimierz, this is like 10 minutes, no further than 10 minutes away. And if you want a cheap eats and a really great eats, absolutely you got to go to Judah Market. Don't miss it. For a proper shopping experience, you might have seen this big department store very close to Wawel Castle. It's got the big orange sign. It looks like it's saying Jubilat, or here they say Jubilat, Jubilat. It's really fun to go check it out because it's a department store from decades gone by. It's like a 1970s, 1980s old Soviet style department store on 3 or 4 levels. And you don't find these stores anymore. I mean, you find less and less department stores anyway with the dawn of Amazon and the internet. But this is a really old school place. The way stuff is presented is old school. The shop assistants in there are kind of grumpy, kind of old school. But it's a place to go, and you can get some great pictures from the top floor of Jubilat, of Wawel Castle. Some excellent pictures. So if nothing else, just go there and take a few pictures of the castle. Really fun place to go, and one of the earliest videos that I made. Not part of Jubilat, but the door is next to the entrance of Jubilat on the main road. It's called Cafe Vidok, and that is a cafe that sits on top of Jubilat. Well worth going. Some of the best views in the city from Cafe Vidok. So if you go to Jubilat, check out Cafe Vidok as well. And the Hotel Cossack is just around the corner. They've also got a restaurant on that floor that's got commanding views. But Vidok is great. The food there we really liked. If you go to Jubilat, check out Vidok as well. Vidok was part of a video where we featured 5 or 6 things. So I'll show you what that video is, but it's just a sort of 5-minute part of it. It's going to Vidok, but it's well worth visiting. While we're talking about views, very close by Jubilat and Wawel Castle is Sky Bar. Fantastic views of the river and Wawel great in the warmer weather to sit outside on the terrace. Also nice in the colder weather, sit inside. The bar, very cozy, great place to go, have a drink or a bite to eat. Some of the best views in the city. One of the locations to take the best pictures. Absolutely worth checking out. Sky Bar at the Podgorgia Hotel. Another event in the summer in Piedmont Square, like the main square of Podgorgia. Again, Podgorgia, very easily reachable from Market Square, kind of 20-25 minutes walk. Everywhere is walkable. But they do a dance festival in the summer, the highlight of which is the public and the dancers join together to do this famous dance in Poland called the Polonaise. I got a video of the public and the professionals doing this dance. It's you can join in if you want to, and I think I want to do that next year because it looks like so much fun. But watch this video. It's just one of the coolest things you'll ever see. The music is great, the dancing is great, and I've never seen anything like it, and the location is spectacular. Again, sort of look up Podgorgia Dance Festival, summer activity. It's a great event. Oftentimes people are saying, can you recommend a restaurant? Recommend a restaurant in the Old Town. Many restaurants in the Old Town, you've got lots to pick from, but don't forget there's a whole bunch of restaurants actually on the River Vizla in boats, like boat restaurants moored down there. Really something a little bit different, very nice to do, especially in the summer, but these things are open all year. Our favorite was Barca. Got a video about Barca. It was an evening which didn't exactly go to plan for us, but you'll get an idea of the location and the restaurant. Really something nice to do. Very different experience from just staying in the city. Again, it's walkable to do it, or a short tram or Uber ride. But don't forget these restaurants that are on the Vizla. Really a nice thing to do. Another great event also, in fact, twice a year they do. There's a theatre company stages open air events in numerous locations, but the big ones are in the Old Town. And these are big scale productions, entirely free. A bit of drama, a bit of music, or sometimes different acts doing different things. But if you can come for one of those theatre weekends, the city, the Old Town just takes on a different atmosphere completely. And these things are, it's just a great time to be in the city if you're lucky to come. And again, that's twice a year. Look out for the theatre weekends. Stara Jazznia in Kazimierz. It's the old tram depot. Quite a big location, which is now a courtyard, and the depot itself. There's a craft brewery there. Yeah, it's an excellent location any time of year, but particularly in the summer months. Really excellent location to go for A, a nice beer, and B, really cool atmosphere. It's a big place, so you can usually get a seat there, especially if you go a little bit earlier. Really nice place to hang out. One of my favorite places to go for a drink in Krakow. Again, we have a video. This is the only one I think I'm talking about that's actually outside Krakow. Everybody knows about the salt mine. Violetska is the name of the town, 30 minutes outside of Krakow. But one of my favorite restaurants is also in Violetska. It's got the biggest portions that we've had anywhere. They're great, they taste great, they're funny. Watch this video, you'll want to go. We did the walk. It was like a 25 minute, maybe 30 minute walk from the salt mines. Absolutely worth checking out. So if you're here with kids, there's one restaurant called Makilo, which is, it's a 20-minute ride or so from the center, but it's the place to take kids. It's unique. It's got a bunch of Guinness World Records to begin with. It's got animatronics. It's got live animals, birds. reptiles, robots that serve you. The kids will get an absolute kick out of this place. The adults get a kick out of it too. So if you're stuck for something to do in Krakow with the kids, make a note of this place, Makilo. It's a place they're going to love, and it's a place they're going to talk about. I'm sitting looking at Kosciuszko Mound from my terrace here. So mounds are something really interesting and a big part of Krakow. There's various mounds. The most well-known one, a Krakus Mound, dates back to like 900 and something, where it's rumored that Krakus is buried. It's in Podgorgia. You go there, great views of the city. But I think even more spectacular is Kosciuszko Mound on the west side, out near where I live. Made a vlog about it. Spectacular views from the top. It's something kind of really unique to check out. Really interesting place. Beautiful to walk around there. Got a museum that you have to, and a waxworks place there to check out. Incidentally, a great cafe up on the top too. Absolutely worth a few hours. Something very different to do, but a big deal in Krakow. You can see Kosciuszko Mound on the horizon from many parts of the city, and you probably wonder what it is. Well, check out the video and think about going to visit it, because it's great. We have some great burger places, street food burger places, in Krakow. So you can have some of the best burgers that I've had, very reasonably priced. Number one for me is a restaurant called Gruba Booyah. In Kazimierz, very close to the Judah market that I talked about earlier. It's got awesome burgers, kind of 20 to 30 zlotys, really fabulous burgers. But the thing that really sets it apart is the fries, homemade fries, best fries in the city. It's a very simple place. You go, you place your order at their kitchen. It just does burgers. It does nothing else. It's burgers. It's a burger, fries, drinks place. But if you're here on a budget, you really want some great food, you're done with Judah Market, check out Gruba Booyah. Another one not to be missed. And while we're talking about burgers, back at Platz Novi, just off Platz Novi, look for a place called Burger Bar. Just literally on the side street from Platz Novi. This little burger bar place, utterly fabulous burgers. Especially they've got one called like Ogrondek or something like that. Less than 30 zloty. This is a gourmet burger. This has got like sun-dried tomatoes, gorgonzola. It's got like great ingredients. Nina and I go nuts for this burger. Highly. Its other burgers are awesome too. Burger Bar, check it out. You've probably heard of Novahuta, which is the purpose-built. It's one of only two purpose-built towns, I think, in the communist era, and they've got one here in Krakow called Novahuta, which is absolutely worth some time going out to explore. The architecture there, the story of the steelworks there. We did a tour that takes you around parts of Novahuta, which we thoroughly enjoyed, and also takes in the nuclear bunkers that were part of the steelworks. And it's in a part of the one of the buildings, the offices of the steelworks, which is empty now, but you can go in it, go down into these bunkers. Absolutely fascinating. Really worth a half-day trip if you're here for something totally different. And you know, the whole sort of communist era is a huge part of the last 100-year history of Krakow. So this is the area to go really to experience what life was like in that time. So worth it, worth putting on your list to do. When you come to Krakow, you've probably all seen the balloon in the sky, and you're wondering, what is that balloon? Well, that balloon you can go on, but it's part of a complex called Haliform, which is on the river. It's on the opposite side of you go from the town centre. You have to cross the river, multiple crossings, to go on the Podgorgia side. But it's where this big old hotel, which is now unoccupied. It's another communist era relic called Forum Hotel. But what they're using it now for is there's a whole bunch of bars and restaurants on the ground floor of what was the hotel, and it's called Haliform. It's got places to dance, great food joints, great beer. In the summer, it's got the deck chairs out there. You can hang out by the river. It's really popular. It's unique, very different from what's in the town centre. Great place to go to hang out for a drink and get some food. But that's also where you're going to find the balloon, and you can do the balloon ride, which I've been too chicken to do, so we don't have a video on the balloon ride, but we have a video on Haliform. It's a destination in its own right. Again, you can walk there. Probably more interesting place to go in the summer, but idiot me managed to delete part of the video that I took outside with 4 of the places that I had talked about, so I got to re-record inside. First of which was one of the thermal spas in and around Zakopane. I know that different people have their favorites. The one that Nina and I really enjoyed is called, forgive my pronunciation, something like Gollencania Potok in a place called Jaflari. Very, very close to Zakopane. In fact, if you take one of the public buses here, which I recommend, from Krakow to Zakopane, which are very reasonably priced, this is one of the stops on the way. So you can get there very reasonably and very easily. And this thermal spa, a little bit smaller than some of the other more well-known ones. Perhaps a little bit less to do there for the kids, although they have some stuff. But Nina and I really enjoy this one. And we made a video about it. So I think this is one to think about if you want to save a bit of money. If you don't want to go on one of the organized tours, you can hop on a bus, you can go there, I forget the price that it was to go in, but it's definitely a more cost-effective way to do it, to go directly. But it's a really nice thermal spa, had a number of pools, a couple of them were indoors, several of them were outdoors, a lazy river, great eating choices, some bands and things playing over there. Anyway, we got a video of the day that we had there, so check it out, because this might be the thermal spa for you. I know there's lots of videos out there about the other thermal spas, but this is the one that we enjoyed, and we would definitely go back. I wanted to talk about November 1st, All Saints Day, which is a remarkable day if you're lucky to be in Poland. It's a holiday here, and it's a day that people remember relatives and friends that have passed away, that they've lost. And what you do on this day is you visit the cemeteries. And what makes it incredible is the atmosphere, just the number of people that actually go on that day. But they take amazing floral tributes and candles, lots and lots and lots of candles. And once it turns dark, it is one of the most spectacular things that I've ever seen. And for 2 years running now, All Saints Day here has just been something incredibly special, something that's made a real impression on me. We've got 2 videos, one from each year that we've been here. All the cemeteries are it's the same thing. There's some wonderful cemeteries here. You can see on the videos that we've done. There's like musicians playing. There's just this amazing atmosphere Of course, it's an incredibly respectful atmosphere, pretty solemn. But watch these videos, because the way that these cemeteries light up and are covered in floral tributes is incredible. And if you're gonna be here and you happen to be here around November 1, this is a do not miss thing. And this is one of the things that makes sort of living in Poland, it's one of the most striking things that I've observed. Will you believe you can have a beach day if you come to Krakow? We have Lake Crispinow, I think it's called, very close to the airport. Big lake, has 5 or 6 public beaches around it. And this is a really cool area. It's really well done, tons of facilities, families you'll see there going and barbecue. It's busy at the weekends, people boating on the lake, rides, paddle boats and things like that you can hire. Sun lounges, lots of facility places to eat, bathrooms. It's really, really well done. You'd be amazed that you could have a really nice beach day in Krakow. So if you're coming in the summer and you're coming for a little bit longer and you want a day that's different to all your other days, check out this video, because you're going to be surprised at the beaches that are here. And it's not just this lake. I know there are other lakes as well. There's similar things. This one was recommended to us as the best one. It's certainly big enough. It really surprised us that this beach existed, or these beaches existed. We had a great time there. Check out the video. You'll see how much we enjoyed it and how beautiful it is. Probably something you didn't know about. Something that you might well enjoy if you're here in the warmer weather. Last but not least, and probably ending the video on this one, so I think it's kind of appropriate, is the Pierogi Festival. And the Pierogi Festival in Krakow is in the very center of the old town. Last year it wasn't in the main square, it was in the smaller square next to the main square. But if you think about Poland, you got to be thinking about pierogi. When you come into Krakow, everybody would be saying, where can I get the best pierogi? Well, if you're really lucky and you come during Pierogi Fest, you've got about maybe like 15 or more vendors who are actually taking part in a competition, but they're there selling pierogi. So you can get to try pierogi from any one of these vendors or several of the vendors. And there's a competition as well, so sort of like most original, unique, new pierogi. So you get the traditional flavors, but you also get some really interesting and unique ones that they've prepared for the competition. So 2 years running, it's been a great event to go to. And we've had some pierogis with some really interesting flavors. Check out the video, you'll see what I'm talking about. In fact, we've recorded it again twice in the 2 years that we've been here. The longest line I've noted is always at a vendor called Secret Smaku. And they have about, I think it's maybe like 8 or 10 locations around Krakow. And that's become my favorite place to go for pierogi, because they have 8 or 10 locations. They're scattered around the city. In the markets, they have places. And in our local market here, they have a place. And I really like their pierogi. They've got traditional flavors. They've also got some interesting ones. They do a Mexican pierogi, which I know Polish people might have a problem with because it's absolutely non-traditional. It happens to be my personal favorite. And this Pierogi Fest introduced me to Secret Smaku, and I really like getting the pierogi from there. But that's the great thing about the Pierogi Fest. You can try pierogi from different vendors, and then if you really like one of them, then you've got a place to go in future visits where you know you're going to like their pierogi. It's just a great event to come to. You know, nothing says Poland like pierogi. So I forget the exact date that it was on. It was kind of late summer. It was a washout when we were here, so added another element of fun to our visit. But if you can get here for Pierogi Fest, Krakow, highly recommend it. It's something really, really great to do. So that's it. That's, if I've counted right, I think I've covered 30 of our 200 videos and the 30 things that are my personal favorites that I would suggest to people from our 2 years in Krakow. So I hope it gives you some ideas. There's a million places, of course, that we haven't been to. That's what's great about Krakow. It's just got an incredible wealth of restaurants, places, events that you could do. We've been here 2 years and we're still talking tip of the iceberg stuff. But as a visitor, these are things that maybe you haven't heard about or thought about. So if they give you some ideas and they're helpful, you got the video you could go take a look at, learn a little bit more. And if it enhances your time spent here, then that would be great. Please leave comments. If you've got favorite places that I've missed out, absolutely share your thoughts about that, what the best things that you've done are for viewers to read about. Maybe you disagree with my perspective on some places. Perhaps you think that Schindlers Factory is, you know, a do not miss. Leave your thoughts, but I really hope that it's helpful to you if you come. And if you have come and done some of the things, let me know. Let me know if you enjoyed them. So thanks a lot for watching. See you in the next video.